websites, they've deleted H&M from their databases, but that's not happening to Adidas and Nike. Yes, they've had celebrities in China cancel endorsement deals, but that's about it so far.
What is the long-term impact of these boycotts on brands?
Well, usually they bounce back, especially if there's no domestic substitute like the NBA. But if the Chinese central government steps in, like it did for South Korean supermarket giant Lotte, where many of its shops were shut for fire safety code violations, then the company has to exit China. Now, China says most of its cotton is harvested with machines, not forced labor. If the US and EU continue to press and penalize China over this, foreign companies might have to choose a side. Use Xinjiang cotton or be
Look at that beautiful sky, folks.
Marketplace's China correspondent Jennifer Pack in Shanghai. Thank you so much.
Sun wants to break through soon.
Let's do the numbers.
Yep.
FTSE in London is down 0.3%. Dow futures
7
is
o'clock
down 43
almost,
points.
folks.
That's 0.1%. S&P futures up 0.1%. Nasdaq futures up.
Where's Noodles at?
Percent. The 10-year
Must be
Treasury
at work.
yield is at 1.725%.
Marketplace Morning Report is supported by GEP. GEP helps businesses transform supply chains with strategy, managed services, and AI-based cloud-native software, including the GEP Smart Digital Procurement Platform and GEP Next, real-time supply chain visibility and management software. Learn more at GEP.com. And by Indeed, with Instant Match, delivering to businesses a list of candidates whose resumes on Indeed match the job
Wow, there's
description.
barrels here. Could they possibly be fixing the roads, folks?
And by Key.
I'm hoping so.
Shape the future of healthcare.
Yep.
Full information about healthcare trends.
Oh my goodness, they are!
/healthcare trends.
I'm amazed! This is gonna be awesome, folks.
Consider this
I won't have to cut around no more.
to a church, synagogue, or mosque.
Yep. So we either go get another coffee or we go home and take a nap.
Empty pews and read empty collection plates for churches. Same goes for other religious organizations.
What do you guys think?
With the pandemic shutdown of Life Presbyterian Church in Minnesota, Pastor Rob Smith suddenly faced financial and logistical problems.
But this is awesome, folks, to see this finally. This is great. Look at this road. How shitty it is right now, folks. So we're gonna keep you up to date on the road repair here on Miller Road. Yeah. Like take it this. I don't know what you would say this end is. Look at this. That's how bad it is, folks. The camera came loose.
David King, who directs the Lake Institute for Faith and Giving at Indiana University, says smaller institutions have struggled the most. Larger congregations.
Look at this one, Carl. Look at that vibration, folks. Look at more shitty roads.
But lower attendance during COVID is a temporary problem. Membership overall has been declining for years, including among young people. Only about 35% go to a church, synagogue, or mosque, compared to just over 50% a decade ago. Amy Asen is with the Union for Reform Judaism. She says one way congregations are reaching out to young people is by participating in events in celebration of justice.
If we can stop thinking about how do I get people to come services and start thinking about how can we help bring the Torah to people's lives based on what they consider as Christians, I think it would be very important.
Rob Smith in Minnesota, being
Good
virtual
morning.
is an unexpected benefit.
Welcome back, folks.
Iowa, Wisconsin, and New
Yep.
York. Donations went up.
Easy, folks. Easy. Easy day for Yeah Man.
Kristen Trump.
Yeah Man hung around, drank coffee for 45 minutes, and then got paid 4 hours to go home. He said, come on back tomorrow, folks.
From 8 p.m. American Public Radio.
Bring me some of them tacos.
Michigan School of Psychology in Farmington Hills, now offering mental health services
Yep.
for the uninsured and underinsured at their new Michigan School.
It was worth it. It was like I took a nap.
May be scheduled
I didn't really sleep much.
edu/clinic.
So I wound up falling asleep, I think. I'm not really sure, folks. Couple hours? maybe. Well, maybe I hit the realm for a couple hours. Maybe that was it.
Zero Health savings account numbers on I-Care and Iver. I-94 eastbound is closed. Van Dyke branch.
Yeah.
Crash. There are also crashes reported on I-94 westbound at Cadgett and I-75 northbound at Davison. Mostly cloudy this morning with some scattered light rain. Partly sunny this afternoon. Temperatures around 50. Partly cloudy tonight with low of 26. 45 degrees now. 119 WD. It's 7.
Good morning. President Biden today will unveil a $2 trillion plan to overhaul this country's infrastructure. It means roads and bridges, but also childcare and climate change. I'm Morning Edition from NPR News.
Biden administration's probably going to make unemployment so bad that no one will want to work. He's going to probably take unemployment to the point where you don't get $364. You're probably going to get more. And that'll put people to want to stay out and just get extensions. That'd be terrible, folks.
Filmed the death of George Floyd took the stand in Derek Chauvin's trial yesterday. How might that testimony affect jurors? And the Supreme Court weighs in on whether college.
Well, let's do this, folks.
It is Wednesday, March 31st. Lord Pablo leads for his Republican at 78.
Let's let him go first. Look at that. He was coming, folks. Here we go.
Video also shows two male apartment building security guards who watched the assault but did not intervene as the man continued to beat the woman. The woman was discharged from the hospital on Tuesday after being treated for serious injuries. A Minneapolis firefighter is set to return to the witness stand today. She is giving testimony in the trial of former Minneapolis police officer Derek Chauvin. From Minnesota Public Radio, Matt Sepik says the firefighter was a witness to the killing of George Floyd.
Genevieve Hansen was off duty last May 25th when she saw police pinning Floyd to the street. Hansen, who's also trained as an emergency medical technician, testified that she knew immediately that Floyd needed medical attention, but police ignored her pleas. She said Floyd appeared to have lost consciousness, but officers did not check for a pulse.
Matt Sepik
Oh,
reporting
wow.
from Minneapolis. Former President Donald Trump is being sued by two U.S. Capitol police officers for allegedly inciting the January 6th insurrection at the U.S. Capitol. NPR's Jacqueline Diaz reports
They
the
want to
officers
sue
say the injuries are
former
both
President
physical and
Trump
emotional.
for their feelings,
For the U.S.
folks.
Capitol police officers say the January 6th attack left the officers with physical injuries, depression, and trauma. The lawsuit details how two officers were crushed, beaten, and verbally attacked by rioters during the siege. The lawsuit argues Trump is ultimately responsible for their injuries because he incited the anger of his supporters by saying the 2020 election was stolen. And they argue Trump
That's his
directed
opinion,
them out going to the
man.
Capitol.
He's allowed to have his
Officers are seeking
opinion,
unspecified
man.
damages. Jacqueline
Come on,
Diaz,
man.
NPR News.
You're listening to NPR News.
Support for NPR comes from NPR stations. Other contributors include Jones Day, an integrated partnership collaboratively providing legal services for more than a century. 43 offices, 5 continents, serving clients as one firm worldwide. Learn more at
One firm
jonesday.com.
worldwide, folks.
traffic report made possible by MGM Grand Detroit.
It's 7:04. Good morning. I'm Pat Batchelor. Thanks for starting your day with WDET's Morning Edition.
Thanks for starting your day with Yeah Man.
Ahead of
Woo!
a cold front that's going to bring our temperatures down significantly.
Money, money,
The
money!
forecast.
Woo, money!
Michigan is getting more COVID-19 vaccines next week.
Yup, so I'm gonna get paid to go home and sleep.
Gretchen Whitmer asked the White House for more doses. Says
Yup.
more than 620,000.
Till 10 a.m.,
delivered,
folks.
12% more than this week's shipment. The state health department says 1 in 3 adults received at least one dose, and almost 1 in 5 are fully vaccinated. Centers for Disease Control and
I was
Prevention
up
says
late,
Michigan
too.
had the highest rate of COVID-19 cases
2
over the
days in
last
a row,
7
folks.
days. The coronavirus is spreading through school-age children in northern Michigan, according to health officials. Dr. Josh Meyerson is the medical director for 3 local health departments in the northern Lower Peninsula. He says contact tracing can track how the virus travels across the region.
We've seen.
Good morning. Welcome to my stream.
And then you can almost kind of follow up where then to another school, and you know you can see where there's been interaction.
What's going on, Jeffrey? Slacking?
Games or
Who's slacking?
or other.
I just got paid to get a cheat code. Do you remember those? When you used to get sent home by the factory? I went in for overtime and they had enough people, so I got the cheat code, folks. I went home, 3/9. I'm still on the clock, folks. 3 more hours, folks. Yup. Joe, just less than that. Yup. Look at that, double trailer. Yup. Now we're heading home, buddy. Hey, welcome to the stream, number 2. Yeah, we're on our way, folks. Good thing I don't have a gambling problem. I'd be headed to a casino. Yup. Yup. Oh, we got a truck on the right, another one. Alright, even though we're gaining, we're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. We're gonna wait. Message. Here's something else, buddy. Here we go. Hit resume, turn left. Turn left, folks! Gotta go around this truck. He's running 65. Yep. Yes, sir. Yep. Oh, it's good things. Why did they kind of run? What did I ever do in this guy that made him so violent? Yeah, it's gonna get cold, I understand. Yesterday it was 70, this morning it was 48, and I guess it's just gonna stay 40 in the late high 40s today, and then it's supposed to shoot down to 24 degrees in the morning. So tomorrow when I go into work, it's gonna be 42 degrees, folks. Yeah. 42 degrees, folks. Yep. But I might go get hotcakes and sausage from Mickey D's. I was thinking about it, folks.
Upgrading housing, schools, and hospitals, a lot of focus on union jobs and helping underserved communities, both urban and rural. It specifically talks about trying to entice manufacturers to areas affected by a loss of coal jobs and helping address racial inequities by reconnecting neighborhoods that were cut off by previous highway building. But this sweeping proposal is only part 1. Next month, Biden is set to propose investments in healthcare, childcare, and education.
There is a lot in part 1, but why is Biden waiting a month to talk about part 2?
You know, historically, infrastructure
traditional idea of infrastructure, and there's a widespread acknowledgement that there's a huge backlog that needs to be addressed. I spoke with former Senator Heidi Heitkamp, a Democrat from North Dakota, who told me that what can make this type of infrastructure an easier sell is that there's something tangible for every lawmaker to tell their constituents about.
You get a bridge, and you get a bridge, and you get a bridge, and you get a road, and you get a hospital. it's the old front infrastructure.
Moderate Democrats may make a big show about demanding that it be targeted, and Republicans certainly will, says Heitkamp.
If people see that it is legitimately an advancement of infrastructure, not like a Christmas tree bill or every other priority, I think that will get a lot of traction.
This is a big, expensive proposal with a lot of elements, but many of those elements address vexing infrastructure problems affecting communities all over the country and from across the political spectrum. Reverend William Barber from the Poor People's Campaign, who delivered a sermon at the inauguration, says Biden needs to go big, be more ambitious than FDR's New Deal, given the depth of suffering exposed and created by the pandemic.
In this moment, why not do it all rather than do pieces? And I understand the politics of it, but let's get it all out there.
Barber says there's a risk in going too narrow.
Where you do the roads, but you don't prioritize rural and urban areas, or you do the bridges, but you don't look at environmentalist sustainable infrastructure jobs and the healthcare and the public health infrastructure and the training and the capacity. It's not or, it's and. It's and.
And the proposal President Biden will lay out today really does try to marry all of those issues that Barber talked about.
It would also cost more than $2 trillion just for the first part. How does Biden propose paying for it?
They want to roll back some of the tax cuts that Republicans and President Trump pushed through in 2017 for corporations and put in place more taxes on companies that move profits overseas. It would put the corporate tax rate at 28%. That's still historically low, about half of the way back to where it was before the Trump tax cuts. And there's something that Democrats are starting to talk about more. They say don't get hung up on the idea of paying for it dollar for dollar, because infrastructure investment pays for itself over time by creating jobs.
NPR White House correspondent Tamara Keith. Thanks, Tam.
You're welcome.
Last summer, New York State ordered all of its 500-plus police departments to, quote, reform and reinvent. The deadline is tomorrow. So how have these departments changed, and do they define reform the same way? Charles Lane from member station WSHU has the story.
After the killing of George Floyd, protesters swelled even the small-town streets in New York. Governor Andrew Cuomo gave them a direction.
Tell me specifically what you want from your police department. Not abstract, not conceptual. Write it down on a piece of paper.
All police departments in the state were required to form a task force with community groups and draft a reform plan. This gave people like Kiana Abedi hope.
This is great. We have our foot in the door.
Abedi first met with her village mayor and explained how she wanted fewer interactions between the community and police.
He called it the village mayor.
He didn't care, but I don't know how else to describe it.
First time I've ever heard that.
It just wasn't on his radar. It wasn't that big of a deal.
I've heard village idiot.
She joined other
Never
activists
village
and
mayor.
met with the larger Nassau County Police Department, which overlaps and provides police
Nassau,
to her village and others.
There he goes
She
again
had
with the
dozens
village.
and dozens of meetings about civilian oversight, unarmed traffic enforcement, and how Black and Latino residents are arrested 5 times the rate of white residents. But then, after all of these meetings, Nassau's
What are
police
they
commissioner
doing?
drafted his own reform plan.
5 times more than the white guy gets caught. What are
This
they
is from the
doing?
day that she and her group resigned in protest.
Our membership has been led to believe that we can trust this process, and unfortunately, young eyes are also naive.
Nassau's police commissioner Patrick Ryder said that he was open to future reforms, but that his department doesn't need to change.
We're not Minneapolis. We're not Chicago. This is Nassau County.
And like many departments in the state, Nassau did make some changes. It adopted body cameras and Tweedtown 911 response to mental health calls. But the large-scale reinventing that Abedi and others had hoped for, it didn't happen.
Listen to him.
Alice Fontier is president of the New York Association of Criminal Defense Lawyers. She says Abedi's experience was replicated all across the state because, as she says, that's how Governor Cuomo designed his executive order.
What he did was place everything and all the power and all of the decision making in the hands of the locality.
No justice!
From upstate to downstate, reformers say that police and mostly white elected officials dodged true reform and maintained the status quo. But that's not universally true. The city of Ithaca plans to completely rebuild its police department with a mix of both armed and unarmed patrol officers. Suffolk County
Feel sorry for them unarmed ones when they're getting their ass beat.
Traffic stops.
Yep.
New York's Association of Police Chiefs.
You pull me over without a gun, they're going to tell you fuck off and drive away, folks. Excuse me, they're going to tell you, I'm not stopping, sir.
Is a law professor at Albany Law School.
Yep.
We're seeing
That's
incremental
gonna
changes
happen.
along those lines. I think those may be significant.
She has consulted with both reformers
Or they're going to
and
fight
police
that cop, I'll
departments
tell you
all
that
over the
right
state.
now.
The thing that I think may ultimately prove most impactful about the executive
Well-
order is the way communities have become activated to engage with conversations about policing.
Even with all these reform plans drafted, there's
Well,
still
folks,
nothing actually requiring that
I'm
police
going back
implement
to
them.
sleep.
For that to happen,
Later,
New York's
dudes.
many local legislators need to enforce the new plans. For NPR News, I'm Charles.